Get ready, because you're now listening to Water Cooler Talk. Covering everything sports and sports news. From the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, the pros, the collegiate level, and everything in between. If it's about sports, then we're about it. So keep it locked to the absolute coolest podcast. Now, your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick.
Oh boy.
Game time.
Oh boy.
Game
what
time.
is going on, everybody? What's up, man? We back. Episode 2.
Yes, sir.
We are back for episode 2, man. How is everything going, Marcus? How are you?
I'm good, bro. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Can't complain, man. So it's all good over here my way, man. I'm just excited. You want to know why?
Let's get it, baby.
Because we get to do this again. This is episode number 2. We had the historic episode to start off, and now we're doing episode number 2, which I'm excited about. So I'm ready to get into it. Everybody, we thank y'all so much for tuning in, listening to the podcast, downloading the show. Again, my name is Nick Frazier, and the other voice you hear on the other end is
Marcus Fitzpatrick.
Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. Yes, man. So today, man, we got a good show for y'all today, man. We got a really good show for y'all today. Today is going to be, we're going to have some debates. We'll have some debates today, man. We may have a couple of disagreements today. Maybe a couple of disagreements today, but it's going to be a good show, man. We hope y'all enjoy it. So, you know what? We want y'all to sit down, grab your drink, grab your popcorn, enjoy the show, and we want y'all to debate with us. All right, man. So, hey, Marcus.
Yes, sir.
You ready to go, boss?
Let's do it, Nick.
You ready? Hey, one thing before we get started, though, man. I will say your audio sounds a lot better this episode.
Well, you know, I got crucified for the first episode audio, so I had to step my game up.
Man, yeah, man. Nah, it sounds clear. It sounds really crisp, sounds really clear. But your audio sounds really, really good for this episode, man. So, man, we about to have a good show, everybody. So, guess what? It's time to go. It is time, everyone.
Let's do it.
You ready? We about to hit up the first quarter.
It's now time for the first quarter.
Oh, boy. We are in the first quarter right now, everyone, and we thank y'all so much again for tuning in with us and listening to the show. But first topic for today's episode, we're going to talk about college football. You know, college football season is right around the corner. We are a little bit less than a month and a half away from college football, and we have some opinions. So we're going to talk about the college football playoff. We know the playoff is expanding after next year going into 2024. But today, while we still have the Final Four, we're going to discuss who do we have in our Final Four college football playoff at the end of this season. Who do we see being in that Final Four, and who will be the first team out? Who will be the first team we have out of the Final Four? So I'm going to defer to Mr. Marcus on the end, and I'm going to let him go ahead and get this started. Go ahead.
All right. Who do I see in the college football Final Four? First, I would like to say I think Ohio State. Ohio State, you know, with Carson Beck probably becoming the starting quarterback with Marvin Harrison Jr., I would like to say I think they're gonna be one of the first ones in this year.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Correction, I just mean Carson Beck. I meant Kyle McCord. Tripping. Carson Beck will be the quarterback for those Georgia Bulldogs coming in at number 2 with Brock Bowers.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir. And I would like to think Michigan is number 3 with Jim Harbaugh bringing back a lot of starters and a lot of defensive key players. I would like to think they would come in at number 3. Number 4, you got to go USC. Caleb, you got the Heisman. Please get them over the hump. And, you know, first team out, you can never count out Nick Saban. Nick Saban has a quarterback battle going on right now. Has brought in a transfer from Notre Dame. So we're gonna really see how that plays out. But I never count out old Nick. I don't like Nick because I'm a Auburn
Mm.
fan. But I ain't gonna never count him out.
You know, I like Nick as a person. I just don't like the University of Alabama. You know, that's how I feel. I think Nick Saban is a funny guy, you know, to sit down with, you know, have a conversation with. But just because he's the head coach at the University of Alabama, I do not like, I cannot stand that. I don't like that at all. So, I mean, okay, so looking at your Final Four, I'm just going to go back over it again. And you say you have Michigan,
Yep.
USC,
Yep.
Georgia,
Yep.
and who was the last one? Ohio State.
Ohio State
Is
and
your Final
Alabama, the
Four.
first one
And
out.
Alabama is the first team out. That's interesting. I'm a little perplexed on the USC choice. Why?
Because man, if Caleb Williams is as good as America thinks he is and says he is,
Mm-hmm.
he should be able to put his team. Him and Lane Kiffin should be able to put that team in a situation to win a chip this year.
I mean, are you talking Lincoln Riley? Because Lincoln Riley's the
Yeah,
head coach.
Lincoln Riley. I said Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin. That's a long time ago. I mean, didn't they fire him like on the
Yeah,
the airport tarmac or something like that?
yeah.
I get what
Like,
you're saying. I understand. That's
Lincoln
it.
Riley from Oklahoma.
yeah. After he said he wasn't leaving Oklahoma, but he left Oklahoma and went to USC like what the next day or something like that. Yeah, that's weird. That was weird. I mean, I can rock with that. I got my Final Four. The Final Four I came up with, and I'm looking at Michigan being probably the best team returning in the Big Ten. They have 13 returning starters coming back, 6 on offense, 7 on defense. And J.J. McCarthy is returning as the quarterback. All right. That defense is what's going to keep them in a lot of games this year. I was doing my research, and the defense was only giving up 4.65 yards per play last year.
Yes, sir.
That's what they were giving up. So I mean, in a total per game, total yards per game, they were giving up was like less than 300. So I mean, I think Michigan is going to be back in there. I think Harbaugh is in a situation where, you know, last year gave him a little bit of a leash. And so now he has to, you know, try to at least make
He's
it.
on the hot seat.
I don't know. Hot seat is a strong word. I don't know. Maybe. But I think Michigan has a really strong chance of getting to the actual national championship game.
Agreed.
I do. My second team is going to be Oregon in the Pac-12. You picked USC, but I'm going with Oregon. I think Oregon has the dark horse Heisman Trophy candidate in Bo Nix.
Ooh, I'm a Bo Nix fan also.
I think Oregon. I think Bo Nix and Oregon have a chance.
If Oregon's defense can find a footing this year, yes, I definitely would. That's a very scary sight.
But see, that's the thing though. But you know, Oregon has always been about outscoring you. I mean, even back to the 2010 national championship when they played Auburn. You know what I'm saying? They've always been about being fast and outscoring you. You know, so I mean, just looking at the numbers, they was averaging, you know, 500 yards per game of total offense. They have 12 returning starters coming back. You know, 5 on offense, 7 on defense. They had a 10-3 record last year. So I think Oregon is going to make some noise in the Pac-12 this year. My third team in the college football Final Four, I'm going to go with Texas. I think the Longhorns in Austin. Are going to make a run this year. And Sarkisian, he got to make a run this year. I mean, it's too much money being thrown around in Austin for Sarkisian to only be going 8-5 with all that talent that they can buy in Austin. Man. So, I mean, and if you look at it, last year, their record, like I said, was 8-5. And they lost all 5 games by a combined total of 25 total points. They lost to Alabama by 1. They lost to Texas Tech by 3. They lost to Oklahoma State by 7, TCU by 7, and Washington by 7. So they were in games. And then, of course, Quinn Ewers was out. Quinn Ewers, who was their starting quarterback, he was out for a couple of those games because he got hurt in the Bama game, and they lost about one. But he'll be back, and he'll be under the scene. He have a full off season to kind of learn the offense and to be able to get comfortable in it. So I think Quinn Ewers is going to be something serious in Texas's last year in the Big 12 before they come over to the big boy league in the SEC and play. So
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to.
That's going to be interesting. That's a whole nother topic, but that's going to be interesting to watch.
Because Texas, honestly, is historically a good football school.
True.
So
a lot of legends.
Them being down as this long is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of legends. A lot of legends coming back, and then of course my final team is going to be Georgia. I mean, I think Georgia's the best team in the nation. It's nothing really to say. The only thing that Georgia has to worry about is who's going to be on the center, and apparently it's going to be between Carson Beck and Vandegrift, Brock Vandegrift. But apparently everybody in Athens is saying this guy Carson Beck is gonna be the guy.
Yeah, they saying he's the truth, Nick.
That's what they saying. I mean,
but I would say he's inheriting a great offensive line, a decent receiving core, and 2 great tight ends.
I would have to say it's a better than decent receiving core because they got Ra Thomas that came over from Mississippi State this year to come sure up that receiving core. And I can't remember who the other transfers that came in right now. It'll come to me, but I think that Georgia is poised to make another run at the national championship. And if I had to pick,
Kirby's gonna keep that defense on deck.
Of course, the defense ain't going nowhere. I mean, they reload. They reload on defense. That's all they do. All they do is reload on defense now. There's no need
next
for
man
them
up
to
mentality.
Go out. Exactly. No need for them to go out and go recruit and wait 2 years for the people to get ready. They are literally Kirby Smart literally brought that early year Nick Saban mentality from when he was in Tuscaloosa to Athens. Yep. And now
from defense to recruiting to
exactly.
Man, it's crazy.
Exactly. And everything that they have over there right now, all they do is just reload. There is nothing that defense is something serious. And you know what makes that what is attributed to that defense when one team in the NFL goes out and drafts your whole interior defense from your national championship list. When the Eagles go and draft your whole interior,
the Eagles got their whole defensive lineup
basically
from the national championship team.
Basically, so whatever Kirby's building over there, man, Kirby keep doing it. Just when you play against Auburn, we want to whoop that butt, but it's okay though. But my first team out, and I struggle with this because I know you had Alabama as your first team out.
Man, you can't count on Nick Saban.
I mean, you can't, but I feel like Alabama is in a very weird stage.
They're in the worst state they have been in a couple years with not knowing who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
With Bryce Young, you knew who the quarterback was. With Mac Jones, you knew he was going to be the next quarterback. Right now, they're looking very uncertain at quarterback.
Very. I mean, you have Jalen Milroe. I have Milroe, if I'm saying his last name correctly, and Ty Simpson are your 2 quarterbacks that are vying for the job. Who's going to be the starting quarterback? There are a lot of people say there's talent on the defensive side, but it's a lot of young talent that needs to be proven. In my personal opinion, the wide receiving core is depleted.
Ooh.
I mean, come on, man. And then
I would say they have a lot to prove this year.
They do. And then, of course, I would even argue that last year their offensive line was not that good.
Nope.
I don't think their offensive line was that good last year. You know
that's what cost them a lot last year. Because you give Bryce Young a lot of time in those situations that they lost, might be looking at a different situation now.
I mean, if you think about it, Bryce Young was kind of running for his life a lot last year.
A lot.
I mean, Bryce Young literally willed that team to a lot of wins. Texas is one, and Tennessee is another. No, I'm sorry. They lost to Tennessee. Did Alabama lose to Tennessee last year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think they lost.
Yeah, Alabama lost to Tennessee last year, but
because that boy Hooker was having a breakout season.
Hooker did his thing. But I will say the Texas game, Bryce Young willed them to that win. I mean,
agreed.
I will. But my first team out is going to be Texas A&M. What did I just say? Jimothy Shout out to B Will from the War Report, Mike G, and all them at the War Report, Ike and everyone, and C's at the War Report. Shout out to y'all. Jimothy at Texas A&M. I got Texas A&M as the first team out. And hear me out. Hear me out when I say this. Okay. Hear me out when I say this. DJ Durkin, this will be his second season at Texas A&M as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
They brought in a new OC and Bobby Petrino. Connor Wegman has a full offseason with the new OC, and he can now maybe sit down and he can get comfortable in the offense. Now, I will say this about Texas A&M. Texas A&M's defense last year was not bad for 2.5, 3 quarters of games. Their offense was horrendous. And when your offense cannot stay on the field for long and your defense has to be on the field longer than your offense, the defense is eventually going to wear down.
Yep.
So it made them look a lot bad. Now, the Appalachian State loss that they had last year was just horrible. I mean, even though they lost by 3, I don't think their mindset was ready for that game anyway. But I honestly believe that with the talent returning on the defensive side, with the talent returning on the offensive side, because they have 15 returning starters coming back to Texas A&M.
I think the expectation for Jimbo Fisher this year, he has to produce. Jimbo got paid a lot of money.
He got to.
Jimbo got paid a lot of money.
A lot. What was it? $100 million for 10 years? Goodness, man. That's
he got to produce.
Yeah, and I think the main thing that's gonna help Texas A&M out this year is the fact that Jimbo Fisher is not gonna be calling plays. Bobby Petrino is gonna be the play caller this year. And Bobby Petrino, if people don't forget, Bobby Petrino, he coached Lamar Jackson, who won a Heisman Trophy at Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, I think with Bobby Petrino coming in and Bobby Petrino taking over that offense, he is an offensive mind, offensive genius of a mind. I think Texas A&M is going to surprise a lot of people in the West. I'm not saying that they are going to go out and they're going to go undefeated, but I think Texas A&M is going to surprise a lot of people.
Jimbo always let me down. I had faith in Texas A&M last year because of him and Nick Saban's little beef.
Yeah, it's over the offseason.
He let me down. So I would love to see him make a inspiring comeback, but you gotta give me something to like. First.
I don't think it'll be on Jimbo. I think it'll be on the offensive coordinators. He was forced to bring in. If you ask me, I think that's what it was. I think some of those guys came in and was like, "Hey, Jimbo, it's time. It's time for you to give up that play calling there, boss man. It's not working. It's not working. We need somebody.
This ain't Florida State.
This ain't Florida State, sir. This ain't Florida State. This is the SEC. That's what it is, man. So I mean, those are my top 4 in my first out. I mean, a lot of people.
I really can't debate that. I want to see Oregon's defense prove itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also, like I said, can't have a lot of faith in Jimbo. In another team we failed to mention, I think Florida State might be actually good this year, but I don't think they're gonna get in the playoffs. But
no, I don't think so. I know a lot of people probably yelling at their phone right now, talking about, what about LSU? And I'm like, well,
they got a quarterback coming back who had a lot of promise last year.
Yeah, he did. He had a pretty good season last year. I mean, I feel you on that. And Harold? What is the linebacker they have? I don't want to say his last name wrong. Is it Harold Perrill Jr.? Perennial? I can't mention his last name right now, but he was a true freshman, and dude was a beast. So I mean, I don't know. I think Texas A&M's schedule sets them up to where they have the opportunity to have a great season because the majority of their game is going to be at home anyway.
Harold Perkins, I think.
Harold Perkins, yeah, that's his name. Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens and what is going to happen in college football this year with the college football CPF Final Final Four. Any other thoughts before we move
SEC
on?
Day right
man?
around the corner, right, Nick?
The SEC days are right around the corner, man. Hopefully, we should be talking about that next week. Next week when we get on, we should be talking about SEC Media Days. So
Yes,
you know what I'm
sir.
saying. So yeah, man. Yeah. So I mean, how do you feel about that, man? How you feel about that first quarter, man? That was kind of chilled. It was kind of like
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
it wasn't that bad. It was
I
kinda
really
chill.
can't. We really couldn't disagree on a lot because a lot of college teams have a lot to prove this year.
True. Yeah,
And,
it's a weird season. It's a
and
weird
I
opportunity.
think this is one of the most uncertain up in the air college football seasons because it's not a lot of just set starting quarterbacks coming into the season.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of returning quarterbacks per se.
Yeah, very true. So yeah, a lot of teams that are making a lot of decisions, trying to figure out what they're gonna do at their starting quarterback position. So yeah, I understand exactly what that is. So we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens with that, man. All right, man. So it's time to go, man. Let's get ready, man. We got done with the first quarter. Let's move on. Let's go.
It's now time for the first quarter.
Oh man, we just made a mistake. We made a mistake. They played the wrong drop. They played the first quarter drop again.
Hey, we're human.
We're human. We're in the second quarter. We're sorry, people, but we're gonna.
You know what we finna do, Nick? Play the right drop.
We're gonna play the right drop. We're going to the second quarter, baby.
Now entering the second quarter.
All right, man. Now that we in the right quarter, man, it feels right now. It feels right, man. So I mean,
Feel a whole lot better.
Feel a lot better. All right, man. So we're in the second topic, man, and I think this topic right here is actually a pretty good debate. And I know we've already talked about this a little bit, and we've picked different people. So ESPN put out something on their Instagram, and actually Marcus was the one that came up with this topic. But it actually had 3 other receivers. But we thought that it would be a better debate if we picked probably 3 of the top receivers in the history of football. So in their prime, which receiver are you taking in their prime? Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, or Calvin Johnson? Who you got?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna have to go with Randy Dandy, Randy Moss, baby.
Okay, all right. Why Randy Moss? I mean, because you can't go wrong with either one, but why Randy Moss though?
Randy Moss is a 5-time receiving touchdown leader. He has the most receiving touchdowns for a rookie. He has the most touchdowns in one season with 23. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. And for an 8-year span, he was putting up Jerry Rice type numbers. Like it's hard to it's kind of hard to argue Randy Dandy against the 3, you know. Big play, Randy Dandy.
I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of these people. I
No,
mean,
you can't.
You can't.
I'm being biased because I love Randy Dandy Notebook. You know.
what is it? You got mossed.
Yes, sir.
Segment. I mean,
You know how it was when we were growing up. Everybody was getting mossed.
they was getting mossed one hands all day. I mean, my thing is this, man. Yeah, you're right. Looking at the numbers for Randy Moss, 6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team All Pro. He was elected to the 2000 All-Decade Team. 982 receptions in his career, 15,292 yards of receiving, 156 touchdowns. Played in 218 games. He was Rookie of the Year.
Comeback Player of the Year 07 too.
And for 10 seasons, he had 1,000 yards or more. So you can't go wrong with that. You can't. I went a whole different direction. I chose the man they call Megatron. I chose Calvin Johnson, people.
Not the Georgia Tech guy.
I chose Calvin Johnson, and I'm going to tell you why I chose Calvin Johnson. 6-time Pro Bowl. 6-time Pro Bowler. 83 touchdowns. 11,619 yards. 731 receptions. He started 130 of the 135 career games that he was in. He has the most receiving yards in a season for a wide receiver. 1,964 receiving yards in a season. Okay.
Him and Matt Stafford used to do it up, man.
Yes, they did.
Detroit, y'all did them boys a disservice not giving them a defense.
Who you telling? First team All Pro 3 times. Second team All Pro 1 time. He was elected to the NFL All Decades team in 2000 for the 2010s, averaging almost 16 yards per catch, and he only played 9 seasons.
He retired in his prime, Nick.
He retired in his prime. I mean, come on, man. Calvin Johnson was a problem. Calvin Johnson was big. Calvin Johnson was fast. And Calvin Johnson was sure-handed. I mean, you 6'5", 240 pounds running a 4.4. Come on, man. Come on. And I did some numbers. And I want and when you look at it, because even when you look at Terrell Owens' numbers and you look at all these guys' numbers together, you can only compare it to the greatest receiver to ever play the game, which is Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, yes, sir.
Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver to ever play the game. Jerry Rice played 20 seasons. Okay. He is number 1 in 4 categories in receiving. Number 1, 14 seasons of 1,000 yards or more receiving. Number 1 with 22,895 receiving yards. He has the most receptions of 1,549, and he has the most touchdowns of 208. And he's only second in TDs in a season with 22 because Randy Moss has 23. Now,
you heard what you said.
Now,
another person on this list, Randy.
You're right. Randy Moss has the most touchdowns in a season compared to Jerry Rice. Now, I did some math here. And I looked at each one of these guys' numbers, their averages, and how long it would take them to get to the numbers of Jerry Rice. Okay? That's what I did. Jerry Rice played 20 seasons now. He played 20. Calvin Johnson played 9. Terrell Owens played for 15. And Randy Moss played for 14 NFL seasons. Randy Moss averaged roughly 70 catches per season. And he averaged roughly 1,100 yards a season. So in order for him to reach Jerry Rice's numbers, he would have had to play another 8 seasons to reach the numbers that Jerry Rice had.
Man, Jerry Rice was amazing, bro.
You see what I'm saying? Terrell Owens, he averaged 1,062 yards a season and roughly about 72 catches. He would have had to play another 6.5 seasons to reach what Jerry Rice did. Okay? Which means that he would have been at 21 seasons. He would have been at 21 seasons for Terrell Owens, and Randy Moss would have been at 22 seasons. Now, the reason why I picked Calvin Johnson is because of this particular reason right here. Calvin Johnson only played 9 seasons. For him to get to Jerry Rice's numbers, he averaged roughly about 12, almost 1,300 yards in a season and 81 catches in a season. He would have only had to play another 10 seasons to get to Jerry Rice's numbers, which means he would have had to have a total of 19. He would have played 1 season less than Jerry Rice and would have had the exact same numbers as Jerry Rice. If he would have played a full 19-year career.
That's an amazing stat right there.
Come on. I mean, he literally did more in the 9 seasons he played compared to the other 2 guys on this list. And if he would have kept going,
I would say also, Nick, he was that offense. What else Detroit had?
But that tells you a lot, though. If he was the offense and they didn't really have a defense for real, that means nobody was stopping Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was that dude. That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know about Calvin Johnson right there. Literally. If he would have kept playing for another 10 seasons, he would have had the same number. He would have had the same numbers or slightly a little bit more than Jerry Rice 20 seasons. Which you could have then argued who would have been the greatest receiver at that time then.
That's saying that his production doesn't fall off as well.
Exactly. That's exactly what that is saying. He retired in his prime. Calvin Johnson was that guy. He was that dude. And by the numbers,
reason why he retired, Nick, because he was getting nicked up.
I mean, he was He was. He
You know,
was taking too
he
many
was
hits.
taking a lot of punishment, being that workhorse that they needed. So
He
who's to
was.
say that his production doesn't fall off in those?
And I'm pretty sure with attrition, time comes with time is gonna fall down. But if you just looking at the averages of what he averaged,
It's amazing.
He
It's
would have
amazing.
had the numbers. He would have had the numbers. He did more in less time than the other guys, basically.
Because people will really be shocked if you took a dive into Matthew Stafford's number.
Matt, you right. Matthew Stafford was that dude.
Because people think that just because Matthew Stafford was losing in Detroit, he was a horrible quarterback. You seen as soon as he got to the Rams and had talent around him.
They won a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl.
So
that's exactly what happened.
People should really dare to look into Matthew Stafford's stats and come back and holler at him, because him and Megatron was a deadly combination.
They were.
And even after Megatron retired, he still put up really decent numbers.
I mean, he did. I mean, he didn't have the support in Detroit
of the organization.
Yeah,
I would say
that's what
the same thing with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, Andrew Luck didn't have an offensive line. Andrew Luck was getting,
and they had so many years to get him. So
who you telling?
It just was like, go out there and win, like you
basically.
did.
Basically, that's what they was saying. They was like, "Hey, go out there.
We got rid of Peyton for you. You need to show us what you were.
Just go out there and get it done, sir. Just go out there and get it done. We need something. We need something, man. I feel bad. Andrew Luck was not. He didn't have an offensive line, man. He was getting hit. But so many
the thing
times,
about it is, with these organizations, Nick, why don't you try? If you know that's just your franchise quarterback, you know you got him for years. Why not try? Like, the thing about what I liked about the Cowboys, they knew they was gonna be a running back team, so they took years to build up their offensive line. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I see the look you giving me. I'm just saying, like, scouting wise, they to build up an offensive line through the draft and free agency. That takes great scouting.
Mm-hmm.
And if I know I had a franchise quarterback who I'm paying millions to,
mm-hmm.
I'm scouting up an offensive line to protect him.
But you also want that franchise quarterback to deliver. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, if you're talking about Dak, I mean.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I only use them as an example because of they build their offensive line through the draft. That's the only reason why I said Cowboys.
Okay, I was about to say.
Rather than that, Nick, I'll stay over here. I'm a
Buffalo
fan.
I was about to say.
I'm put that in context. I'm a Buffalo fan. Forget the Cowboys.
Are you one of those Cowboys fans that be like, "We gonna win"? It's our year to win the Super Bowl. We gonna win the Super Bowl this year. Every year is the Cowboys. Year the Cowboys are gonna win the Super Bowl every year, and they never win the Super Bowl. Wait, when's the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl?
When they beat us.
90. What is that? 95.
93.
It's one of them years. It got to be one of them years.
93, 92.
Okay, all right, but yeah, I mean. Come on, man. I'm just saying, Cowboys fans, get your mind right. I mean, y'all need another receiver, and we'll talk about that later on in the in the podcast. So, but we'll see what happened with that though. But yeah, man, I feel like Calvin Johnson is in their prime. Calvin Johnson is the one and only that you can pick from.
All I'm gonna say is, when you were growing up, you tried to avoid getting Randy Moss.
Hey,
that's how a legend that man name is in the game. And as soon as he got with a legendary quarterback, 12-0.
You're right. They did go undefeated in the season. You right. You got a point. You make a good point. You make a great point. But I'm still rolling with that man Megatron.
I
am rolling with that man Megatron named Calvin Johnson, man. Oh man. So that was a good segment, man. How you feel so far, man? How your team doing?
I'm awake now. The first segment we were kind of chill, getting our bearings. You know what I'm saying? Now let's go.
Yeah, we getting our bearings. We had mix-ups with the drops and everything, but we back now. We fully here. We ready to go. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go into the locker room. We're going to regroup, and then we're going to come back out because you know what time it is? It's halftime.
You don't out your seats. It's halftime.
Oh man, so while the team's in the locker room, taking a little bit of break, getting a little bit of water, a little bit of, something to get in their system to rejuvenate themselves, man. We want to thank y'all so much for tuning in and listening and coming and sitting around the water cooler with us every Wednesday, listening to us talk about our perspective on sports, man. Man, we thank y'all so much, man. Go ahead, man. Go find us. We are listed right now. You may be listening to us in one of these podcast directories right now. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. We are listed in Amazon Music, man. We are listed in all the podcast directories that you can find, man. So we appreciate that, man. Go to our website, www.watercoolertalk.buzzsprout.com. Follow us on our social medias on Instagram and TikTok at The Water Cooler Talk. Email us at wctpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the show. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear us talk about. Also, man, we will be putting up content on our YouTube page. Go find us on YouTube at The Coolest Pod 23 on YouTube, man. Also, we want to thank our sponsors for this show. We have none. So hopefully in the future, they will be coming in. So we appreciate that, man. So we really do appreciate that. Team still in the locker room right now. They still getting ready. They still, trying to warm up. Well, they'll be coming back out and they should be coming out in the next 2 minutes, maybe, or so, something like that. But yeah, you want to say something. Go ahead, say something, man, while we in halftime. What you got to say?
Man, we good over here, man.
Oh, okay.
I want to say you were correct earlier. 95 was the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. And they did play, I think, the Steelers, if I'm coming off the head correct.
Got you.
I just had to think about it because I was just sitting over here thinking, I'm like, they beat us, but I think they won another championship after they beat us.
Yeah,
I think they
triplets.
beat the Steelers,
It was Troy Aikman.
Somebody at home Google me, but I'm pretty sure they beat the Steelers in 95.
Yeah, the triplets. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. Those were the triplets back then, when they was actually a really good team,
Woo.
You know what I'm saying?
Before Michael Irvin started becoming Michael Irvin.
Yeah, before he
always been Michael Irvin.
Yeah, Michael Irvin cool, man. Michael Irvin cool. He like Unc. He like an Unc.
Well, yeah,
him and Shannon Sharp.
I love seeing him on public shows so he can act out.
Yeah, they like Uncs, man. Him and Shannon Sharp. They like the Uncs of the world. So you know what I'm saying? Oh, speaking of which, ESPN had those layoffs, right?
Yeah.
So, Jeff Van Gundy was part of those layoffs.
That hurt.
That did hurt. That did hurt. That hurt a lot.
Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Friday night, man. I love it.
Yeah. So apparently, before I see the team starting to come out the locker room, so I'm gonna say this real quick. But apparently, it was Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy who were the number one team that would call NBA games. So now, apparently, it's being reported that it's gonna be Mike Breen, Doris Burke, and Doc Rivers calling games this year.
Hey, at least Doc had to find a job that he can be very successful in.
Man, Doc how do you see that? How do you see that dynamic working with them three? I don't know.
Shout out Doris Burke.
Doris Burke been there for a while. I mess with Doris Burke. I like Doris Burke.
I love Doris Burke to death. Doc, you knew he was gonna find some type of employment. The man can't go 5 months without a job. When I say his resume is impeccable.
I mean, but the thing is, he knows basketball though. But there's a difference between knowing basketball and then being able to commentate a game, because that dynamic between those three of Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy, and Mark Jackson, it was just so it just hit. It wasn't to the level of like the inside guys with like Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck. It's not that level. But when you saw them three together, you knew he was going to enjoy listening to them call the game.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I'm just kind of interested. I'm interested to see how this particular team, how this dynamic is going to set up. That's just what I'm interested to
all I would say is, if Doc players don't like listening to Doc, how you think the world don't like listening to Doc?
That's funny, man. That is hilarious, man. That's hilarious, man. Oh, I see the teams. They stretching. They stretching. The band is about to start playing.
It
So
smells like the third quarter is
smell like the third quarter is about to come. So I mean, you know what? I guess it's time for us to, hit up the third quarter, baby. Let's go.
We've now entered the third quarter.
Oh man, that was a good halftime, man. That was a great halftime, man. We appreciate that, man. Appreciate everybody listening to us and things of that nature. So yeah, this is pretty good. How you feeling so far?
Man, I feel great. Feel good. How are you?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling in the words of Sami Zayn, I'm feeling oozy. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling oozy, my guy. That's how I feel. Sami Zayn, shout out Sami Zayn in the bloodline. Well, he's not in the bloodline no more, but shout out to the bloodline. Well, let me stop because the bloodline is kind of crumbling between. Anyway, let's just move on to the third quarter, man. Let's go, man. Okay, so we kind of touched on this last week. We kind of talked about this last week when we were talking about NBA free agency. And Chris Paul was introduced in Golden State a couple of days ago. And he was asked by a reporter about him potentially coming off the bench. So we're going to play this clip. And we want y'all to hear this clip. And then we're going to discuss it. So listen, this clip is from Golden State Warriors, and it's coming from when he was in. He was being asked questions by the media, and this was his response. So here it is.
Presumably, you'd be coming off the bench, playing with the second unit that's a lot younger than the Warriors of the past have been with J.K. and Moses. Just what do you think of their depth, their bench players that you might be playing alongside?
You coaching? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what the situation is going to be yet. You know what I mean? So I think that'll be for us to figure out once we get going.
You've never come off the bench in your entire career. Is that something that you'd be willing to do?
Like I said, it'll be a conversation for us when camp starts or whatnot. But me and Steve have talked or whatnot. But that ain't something you'd be like, "What up, man? Where you starting? You coming off the?" You know what I mean? So I think we'll figure all that stuff out in camp.
Now, granted, the man was just introduced in Golden State as,
Coach?
as the,
You the coach?
You the coach?
You the coach?
You the coach?
You got some answers?
Oh, okay. All right. No, but the funny part is he was like, "You the coach?" Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So, I mean, the question we asking is this going to affect the Warriors' chances of winning the championship next year? Like, how do you see this? How do you see this playing out in Golden State with Chris Paul? Like, literally, come on.
All I would say is, if his mind is not open to coming off the bench, they are in trouble. Trade him now, because the reason why you bring in Chris Paul is to control your second unit.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not, he's there to replace Jordan Poole, but he's there to be a floor general in the aspect of controlling the game while Steph is getting a break. If he's not open to that, we don't need to talk, Chris Paul. We can go ahead and trade you and let your career end how it's gonna end. We're trying to get you a ring here. Who the coach? Steve Kerr, the coach. You better get in there. You better listen to Steve Kerr.
I mean, I do. I look at it like this. You gotta look at it from this perspective, man. Chris Paul has been the man on every team he's been on since he's been in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure, even with him being asked that question, it's an insult. You know what I'm saying? It's an insult to him.
If it was an insult to Carmelo, it's an insult to Chris.
Exactly.
Paul.
But you know what Carmelo did though? Carmelo, he was out the league for like a year because because Carmelo did not want to come off the bench at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? But then he realized, he was like, well, the game has changed. I'm an ISO player. That's not the game anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I can still contribute to a team, and I can still give you 15 a night, 15 to 18 a night or something like that. I might just have to come off the bench. You know what I'm saying?
Russell Westbrook just came off the bench. So
Exactly.
It's just like at this point with Chris Paul, we know you can be a starter on someone else's team, but on this team, for us to be successful, You have to know your role.
He got to. He got to. I mean, and like I said, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week. I said I did not see when this was announced, I did not see Chris Paul starting. I didn't.
No.
I did not see I did not see Chris Paul starting. I saw
I
Chris
even
Paul
heard
coming off the
people say
bench.
that it was going to be a sign and trade type situation.
Maybe. I mean, because you got to think about it. If you're looking at the financial part of it, he's owed $30+ million this year, and this is an expiring contract for the Warriors. So even if he stays on the books at the end of next year, that contract is gone. It literally is. You know what I'm saying? What Chris Paul is 35, 36 years old, something like that. And I don't think that. I mean, I don't see another team giving him a max deal. I don't
Not
see
at all.
I don't see another team giving him a max
Not
deal.
at all.
I mean, I know he wants to play into his 40s, and he probably still can. But I don't see another team giving him a max deal. I mean, younger talent coming into the league. You have other point guards coming to the league that play faster because the league is going to more of a faster type game, not more of a half court game than anything. And that's what Chris Paul is. He's a half court.
Yeah,
half-court point
he's a
guard.
floor general. He has
Yeah.
to slow down the offense and break it down.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. He pick you apart that way. I don't see another team giving him a max deal. I mean, in things of that nature. Could a team do it? Maybe, possibly. But yeah, I don't see Chris Paul starting in with this Golden State team. He's coming off the bench, and he's coming off the bench with Kuminga. He's gonna come off the bench with Moses Moody. He's coming off the bench with those guys.
I would say that for him, it's probably best to come off the bench.
I agree.
If he wants to extend his career into his 40s, this is the perfect situation for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Because if
I agree.
you go to another situation where he's demanded to be the starter, I feel like it's going to expose him as Father Time catching up with him, and he's not going to look nearly as good as he has looked in the past. So it's probably just time for him to take that role and come off the bench.
I mean, it kind of has because look at him in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Production fell off horribly after his birthday.
In the playoffs. In the playoffs, I think for the last 2 years when Phoenix was in the playoffs, he was hurt in the postseason. So with him,
Nick, let's just not start at Phoenix. We all know from his Clipper days, Chris Paul will get hurt.
I mean, yeah, but like it's like he get hurt at the most inopportune time, like the time when the team needs you.
Right. When you need him, he's gonna get hurt.
He hurt. I mean, like, what's up with that? I mean, you know, I'm not sitting here saying, you know, injuries don't happen because injuries do happen. But maybe him coming off the bench for Golden State will keep him fresh. And when the postseason comes, at the end of the games, he can be in the game to help. Because like I said, even with him being in the game with Steph could play the two, and Steph can play off the ball because Steph can move without the ball. Steph be running through screens.
Him and Clay.
Exactly. It's not a problem for Steph to run off screen, catch a ball, shoot, game.
I feel like he's kind of more dangerous when you gotta chase him out the screens.
Exactly. I feel I feel you on that. Like when Draymond be playing that point forward position, Draymond be bringing the ball down court. You know, Steph coming off a screen off the baseline in the corner pocket is in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of things. I think this is a blessing. This could be a blessing for Chris Paul. Chris Paul,
indeed.
If you are listening, please consider coming off the bench, sir, because what will happen is you will be healthy enough in the postseason when the fourth quarter comes to be in the game.
And Chris Paul, we want you to get a ring. That's what he's saying.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want, Chris Paul, because you're too great of a player to not get a ring. Chris Paul, if you hear my voice, please, Chris Paul, for the sake of the Golden State Warriors
and the coach
and Steve Kerr, and for you to get your first ring, and for Steph, Clay, and Draymond to get ring number 5, please come off the bench, sir. It would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, sir. For real.
Thank you. That's how we feel about that. But I mean,
hey man, hey, we ain't the coach. We ain't talk to the coach. We don't know.
Hey, Marcus. Hey, Marcus.
He was so
Hey,
he was so
Marcus.
emotional.
Hey, Marcus. Hey, Marcus. You coach?
You coach?
Oh, okay.
Hey, he was like the audacity of you.
That's what it
Stand in front
sound
of
like.
All these people and ask me this like I ain't Chris Paul.
That's what it sound like when he said. He was like, who? The bitch, like the bitch was a disease. Like he was like he was COVID. Like he was trying to quarantine from the bitch. He was COVID. Oh my god, man. But nah, man. I think we come to. I think there is a consensus that we both think that it's best for Mr. CP3, the future Hall of Famer. Everyone calls him the point god. To come off
You
the
need that
bench.
ring, CP.
Come off the bench.
You need
man.
that ring.
Come off the bench, man. Just come off the bench. What's better, a bruised ego or a championship ring? Which one?
I forget that you came off the bench if you get the championship.
Yeah, I mean,
I give you a heads up. I forget. If you want me to forget, I forget.
I mean, Kevin Durant left the Oklahoma City Thunder and went to the team that beat him and joined them and won 2. So, what's wrong with that? I mean,
And I ain't gonna forget that. But for you, Chris Paul, if you want the word to forget in history that you came off the bench, I will forget. If you go come off the bench,
yeah, Chris, just come
I
on.
tell my grandkids you was a starter.
Because technically he was a starter. He was a starter at the other places he played at, just not Golden State.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's a half a lie.
Just, he's just not Golden State. He may start some games, in Golden State, but he wasn't.
Steph Curry gonna load manage.
Oh man, that's good. That's good, man. How you feel about that, man? We are about to ease on, slide on
Throwing them
in.
foes up on here though. We throwing them foes up. We know what time it is.
It's game time. What time is it? What time is it? $8 in the house. What time is it?
Hey,
what
Nick,
time
real quick
is it?
question.
Go ahead.
In high school, who was your favorite coach?
Dog, you really put me on the spot like that for real.
Yes, sir. I hope they hear it too.
In high school, who was my favorite coach in high school?
Yeah.
I'm about to go with Coach Nickel.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna go there.
I'm about to go with Coach Nickel. Coach Nickel was my favorite coach in high school.
Respect. I love you, Coach Nickel. That was my dude.
Yeah,
too.
Coach Nickel. If you listen to this, dog, what up, dog? What up? I think he in Florida right now. He the head coach at at a school in Florida. So yeah, I'm about to go.
He came from middle school with us, so
Yeah, he
I
did.
knew you were going. I knew you were going that route.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Coach Nickel. Coach Nickel was my favorite.
But since
coach.
you go, Coach Nichols, I gotta go. I got 2, but I'm gonna go with my ace though. I'm gonna go with Coach Bowl.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my ace though.
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna go with my
right.
ace.
I got you. That ain't a bad pick. Ain't a bad pick. I'm gonna go with Coach Nickel though. Coach Nickel was my guy. All right, man. It's time.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
time.
sir.
It's time for the fourth quarter. Let's go.
We have now arrived at the fourth quarter.
Man, we are here, man. We in the last quarter. We got the foes up. We
Yes,
trying to
sir.
get this win right here, man. We trying to get this win. We trying to drive down the field. Hopefully, we ain't trying to get a last-minute field goal to end this. But, man, we going to go ahead and get this
I'm
thing
trying to get the blowout win.
Trying to get a blowout win, right? Trying to get the blowout win. Okay. All right. So let's see what happens. Let's see how this fourth quarter goes. You see what I'm saying? Let's see how it go. Oh, man. So, the big news in the NFL.
Huge news.
Huge news in the NFL, man. This is major news, man.
This the move everybody was waiting on in the NFL.
Yeah, a lot of people was waiting on this move. A lot of people trying to figure out where this guy was gonna go. So it has been reported, and apparently it's been confirmed that your man DeAndre Hopkins is gonna be going to the Tennessee Titans.
I'll talk about that later. How I really want to talk about.
He's
it.
going to the Tennessee Titans, dog. That's wow. 2 years, $26 million, with the potential of adding another $6 million to it, and
incentives.
Yeah, incentives. The contract could be up to $32 million. Worth $32 million. How does this make Tennessee a threat in the AFC, or does this make Tennessee a threat in the AFC? Like, what are your thoughts?
Nick, you know my thoughts. Not a word from to know my thoughts. It doesn't make them a threat. It doesn't make them a threat. A 31-year-old DeAndre Hopkins after you got rid of a prime AJ Brown, they're hearing his prime. If this makes you a threat, y'all been holding back all these years. Y'all been waiting to just transform into something that we've been waiting to see. But no, Tennessee, this does not make you a threat. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm gonna talk to you later. We're gonna talk. But I would say Tennessee for the organization, y'all is a win for y'all. But if realistically, if we looking at it, no, you went to a situation where it's undetermined who the quarterback gonna be. I know they're going with Ryan Tannehill because he's a veteran. They just in the last 2 years they just drafted a quarterback in the first and the second round. Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
I think it's interesting. I'm not gonna say it's a complete fail, but I think it's an interesting pick. For one, I do think a lot of it has to do with money. 2 years,
Of course.
2 years, 26 million. That's a lot. 12 million he gonna make
But
this
but
coming up
Nick,
season. But
his last contract with Arizona was two years, 57 or 56, I think.
I mean, yeah, I mean, and this could be a placeholder. I mean, this could be a placeholder for him to get to wherever he wanted to get to as well. You know, it's interesting to me. This is interesting because I'm looking at the numbers. Tennessee had the 30th ranked offense last year in the NFL. Had the 30th ranked offense in the NFL.
Derrick Henry ain't moving. They ain't winning.
Exactly. Their receiving core, their number one receiver had 527 yards last year of total yards receiving. That was Robert Woods. Who in my opinion is not a true number one receiver. Their next receiver that had close to him was Treylon Burks. And I think he had like 440 yards of total yards receiving.
I like him. He's a good young.
Yeah,
talent.
I do too. I mean, it's just because he came out of Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah, shouts out to my boy Kyle. My boy Kyle from Arkansas. He put me on Trey Burks. He told me to pay attention to him.
okay. I know Trey Burks.
Yes,
I know Trey Burks
that's
from when he was catching that ball all over Auburn. That year when Auburn went into Arkansas and got beat.
Yeah, got beat.
I was like, good God, like what it is. But I mean, there are other problems this team has. This team has other problems. Well, let's look at the good thing. You finally have a true number one receiver in DeAndre Hopkins that Ryan Tannehill can get the ball to. Now, how long Ryan Tannehill will be the quarterback, who knows? Because you got Malik Willis and Will Levis behind you. They have a solid run game with Derrick Henry. It's like Derrick Henry has to block and run for himself because I was looking at Pro Football Focus PFF, and the Tennessee Titans offensive line was ranked 32 out of 32 last year. They had the worst offensive line.
You got to realize that's why he got hurt last year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's like they had like the worst offensive, and then they have them ranked as the worst offensive line going into the preseason this year.
Did you see the offseason moves?
I mean,
I
they
really
went.
didn't see nothing dramatic.
They went and drafted. I mean, they went and drafted a left tackle, Peter Skoronski out of
I didn't see nothing
Northwestern.
dramatic.
I mean, to kind of shore up the offensive line, but even with them drafting for their first round pick, their first pick in the first round, they drafted a left tackle, and Pro Football Focus still says that your offensive line sucks. Like, there are other things wrong with this team. They need to shore up the offensive line for one, because if the offensive line ain't blocking, I don't know what the quarterback gonna be able to do.
Did we just talk about Andrew Luck earlier?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing about this, a bright spot for the Tennessee Titans is their defense. Now, their defense was kind of lopsided because they had like the number one ranked rushing defense in the league. They only allowed like 79 yards per game rushing, but they was near the bottom when it came to pass defense. They was averaging like 270 yards, 275 yards a game passing. But you went in the past other drafts and you've been drafting these secondary guys. What's going on?
Well, the thing about it is Mike Vrabel, Patriots alum, He's a linebacker. So as us being former linebackers, what are we taught to stop first?
Yeah, start the run, of course.
You
Start the
know,
run, play
so
hook curls. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Play the hook curl, start the run. You know what I'm saying?
you know.
You know what
So
I'm saying? That's it. But I mean, the thing is, I mean, with them adding DeAndre Hopkins, I think it's interesting because now you have a healthy Derrick Henry coming back, who possibly could go for 2,000 yards this year if the offensive line can give him a
I was
crease.
just finna speak on that.
If
Good
they
thing,
can give
good-
him a
good one.
crease, and if the offensive line can give Ryan Tannehill time, DeAndre Hopkins will catch anything that's thrown in his vicinity. Like, sure-handed receiver. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he won't catch the ball if it's thrown to him. I mean, like, even looking at his numbers last year, he had 64 catches for 717 yards with 3 touchdowns. He was averaging 11 yards per catch. And that's only with him playing 9 games because he was suspended the first 6 games of the season.
And that's also with his starting quarterback playing Call of Duty at night.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what that is. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it to me, I'm looking at it like he already has more production than your best receiver last year.
Most definitely.
So it's an interesting pick to me, but I think there
like I
were
said,
other
it's
teams.
a win for the Titans.
Yeah, it's a win for the Titans, but I think there were other teams that he could have went to, and it would have been a whole lot better. It would have been a whole lot better.
Man, so many opportunities.
Yeah, so many opportunities. Yeah, so
Yeah,
many
so
opportunities.
Cause like the thing about it is, he could have went to Buffalo with Josh Allen. He could have went to Kansas City with Pat Mahomes. He could have went to Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. Like he could have went so many different places to put him in a position to win right now, but he didn't.
True.
He chose Tennessee. So I really want to see where that takes him and where he has a lot of faith in his ability. That's one thing I will say, and I respect it about that young man.
Of course he does. I would have loved to see him. 2 places I would have loved to see him. I would have loved to see him in Kansas City, of course, with Patrick Mahomes, and I would have loved to see him in New England with Mac Jones, because Mac Jones needs a receiver. Mac Jones needs somebody to throw the ball to.
I want him to come to Bills Mafia with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. Put those guys in position to win where Josh Allen has no excuse. He has to do something. He has to produce. With the acquisition of DeAndre Hopkins to the Buffalo Bills, I don't care about losing Leslie Frazier this offseason. I don't care about the replacement of Tremaine Edmonds. You have to at least be in the Super Bowl with the acquisition of DeAndre Hopkins and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
if you're Josh Allen.
If you went to Buffalo, I feel you on that. Now, I think Mac Jones needs somebody in New England to throw the ball to. That's how I see it. I just think he needs somebody to throw the ball.
All I would say is, if
needs somebody
old
to catch
boy
the ball.
who backing up Mac Jones get in the game and had a production as he does last year, Mac Jones might be fighting to stay as a starter in New England.
I mean, they saying he was the heir apparent to Tom Brady. I mean, he's a system quarterback, man. That's what he was, game manager. I mean, I don't know, man. He just needs somebody to throw the ball to. That's what he needs. He needs somebody to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
But DeAndre Hopkins in Kansas City, oh man, that would have been
Man,
deadly.
I'm sick of that, man.
Would have been
that right there
deadly.
overkill for me, man.
And
I know, but I'm just saying, man. God dang, he just took Juju.
And
he just took Juju and won the Super Bowl, man.
What that supposed to
D-Hop,
mean?
man.
And so
Dang, bro.
Patrick Mahomes trying to win.
That's just unfair.
Patrick Mahomes is trying to eclipse Tom Brady record. That's what he trying.
That's
to
what
do.
I'm saying.
He trying.
He get D-Hop.
It was over with.
My
It
God.
was over with. I mean, literally over with for the league. I mean, it was nothing. It was nothing that they were gonna be able to do if DeAndre Hopkins went to Kansas City. Like it was, that was gonna be some tough sledding for a lot of defenses. That's all
Him
I
and
was gonna
Travis Kelce would have made me sick.
say. Oh man, but first I would have had to get past Joe Burrow first. That's how I see it. That's how I see that. I mean,
Man.
I would have had to get past Joe Burrow. That's just me.
That young man right there, he's ready for this next season. I know he is.
Who, Joe Burrow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Joe Burrow about to win league MVP. I said it first. Joe Burrow will be the NFL's MVP this year.
All I would say, I wouldn't be shocked, but Josh Allen, you need some hardware this year.
I don't see that happening. Sorry.
All right, stay tuned.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, that was good. That was the end of the game, man. So
Great game.
That was a great game, man. So I mean, that was pretty good. We had that was a good discussion right there. That was a good discussion.
Yes,
I think
sir.
we
Yes,
both
sir.
kind of see. I found it to be an interesting pick. You don't like it at all. I found it to be interesting, but hey, we'll see what happened, man. So now we're gonna go ahead and guess where we're gonna go. We're gonna talk about it in the post game, people. The post game.
It's time to shut it down in the post game.
Man, so I wish we had some players to interview, but we only have Marcus. So Marcus, what do you? What do you think? What did you think, man? How did the game go for you today, man? How did the game go?
Man, my team is exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
We spent all week preparing for this. Man, I'm proud of my coaching staff. They had me very informed today.
Mm-hmm.
We came out a little sluggish in the beginning, but my defensive coordinator, he came to me. He was like, "We're gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
We're gonna make some big plays.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna make some interceptions.
Mhm.
We're gonna make some big hits." And we turned up. So I'm proud of my guys. And it's another great game. And hopefully next week we'll pull out another one.
Hey, man, that's great, man. Y'all did come out a little sluggish to start, but you know what? You picked it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you brought it on in. You brought it on home, man. So we appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, that was a great game, guys. I enjoyed that. I hope you all enjoyed that game, man, because guess what? It's time to give out a little bit of hardware. It's time to give out that award that everybody likes. It's time.
Ooh, I hope I don't make nobody mad with this one, Nick.
We gonna see. All right, man. But it's time to give out the Waterboy Award.
Give it up for the Waterboy Award.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
All right.
Yes,
all right.
sir.
All right. So the Waterboy Award. Marcus,
Yes, sir.
who are you giving? Who are you giving this week's Waterboy Award to? And you probably gonna make some people upset with this one. And you probably gonna make a lot of people be like, "What? You know what? You got a point." But who you giving that Waterboy Award to this week, boss man?
People gonna be kind of upset with this one, Nick. But I got to keep it real, and I'm gonna say what people are scared to say. So my Waterboy Award this week will go to the one and only DeAndre Hopkins.
Wow.
Why DeAndre Hopkins, you ask? So I'm giving it to DeAndre because, sir, you just came off the biggest contract in your life. So money shouldn't be an option. It should be you're trying to go get a ring. You had plenty of options on the table. You could have played with Patrick Mahomes. You could have played with Josh Allen. You could have played with Lamar Jackson. By gosh, you could have played with Kirk Cousins. Anybody but Ryan Tannehill and the Gucci. They don't even know if Ryan Tannehill gonna be their coach.
Don't get me started on Kirk
I mean,
Cousins.
the quarterback. I said, Coach, I'm so frustrated with the decision that young man has made right now. Like Ryan Tannehill, it could be Mike Tannehill, Will Levis, or Malik. Who knows, bro? But you gave up a chance to play with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, my gosh, bro. Like, what was you thinking, man? Like, was you just like, I still got it at 31 off an injury. I'm finna go play with Ryan Tannehill and show the world that we can do it. Ryan Tannehill and a defensive secondary that been question mark since Mike Frankel got there, like we pointed out earlier. So
wow.
I'm puzzled on that decision. If you want to, man, you can come to the table with me, drink some water, come on the bench, sit down, and talk to me, and tell me and Nick what provoked this decision. Like, do you like Tennessee? Do you like the state? I like the state. Maybe that would played into it because I like the state of Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that would played into it because Buffalo cold, KC cold. I don't know, Nick. Can you tell me? It's just because he just had so many options.
I mean,
That's why
maybe
he got the award today.
maybe because Tennessee has no state income tax, or
Exactly. And I
that
love the
probably
state.
has something to do with it. Maybe because I heard Bill. I mean, not Bill Street, but I heard Nashville is a really cool place to live.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I said, I thought it was an interesting pick. I was surprised when you told me this is who you're gonna get the Water Boy Award to. I low key thought we was going a whole different direction.
No, Nick, I
Somewhere,
had to highlight
but
this because the people in the sports world are already joking on this decision. Because if you've been on Twitter lately, which I know you stay on Twitter like I do, you've seen the wide receiver graveyard memes with Randy Moss and Julio Jones, and they put DeAndre Hopkins. Come
oh
on,
my
bro.
god, man!
Come on, man.
That
That's
young
not a great
man,
decision.
that young man made the best decision for him and his family.
Yeah,
And so
at,
you
at
know
the end of the
what?
day, I gotta respect that. But football wise, like you were just saying, who don't want to play with Patrick Mahomes?
I don't,
And I don't even. I'm a Buffalo fan, and I don't want Kansas City to get no better than what they already are. But if I'm a football player, a top notch wide receiver, hey man, I'm in KC.
hey,
I just seen that man just take Juju Smith and win a Super Bowl.
hey.
I'm going to KC.
Well, Mr. Hopkins, you heard it there from Marcus.
Sorry, DeAndre.
That's the Water Boy Award. Hey, come sit around the water cooler with us on the bench, man, and tell us um, why you decided to go to Tennessee, man. Why? What was the reasoning? So yeah, you deserve that one because Marcus said so. So man, that one. I honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I honestly thought we were going in a whole different direction. I was thinking of a whole nother story. When he told me this, I was like, huh? Really? I'm pretty sure there's another story that came up that would be better. But maybe we'll save it for another day. But hey, that was it, man. But that was a great show, man. That was a great show. How did you? I mean, we did that was good. How do you feel, man? How are you? Are you excited? You look like you're a little tired.
Yeah, man, been a long week, but we gonna be here every week, no
Hey.
matter what circumstance.
Of course, man. So, I mean, yo, we thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in with us. Thank y'all for listening to us, man. We will be here every Wednesday. Come sit around the water cooler with us. Sit down, talk, listen to us. Listen to us give our perspective on sports, man, on the landscape of sports and what's going on. So, man, we thank y'all. Every Wednesday, we will be here. Go follow us on our social medias on Instagram and TikTok at The Water Cooler Talk. Follow us on YouTube because content will be coming on YouTube in the near future at The Coolest Pod 23. If you want to talk with us, email us at wctpod@gmail.com. Also, go to our website at www.watercoolertalk.buzzsprout.com. Man, there are all type of ways to listen to us. We are on majority all podcast directories: Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Stitcher. Man, wherever you get your podcast, download and listen to it. Wherever you're listening to us at right now, keep listening to us. Follow us, rate, subscribe, like the show, man. We appreciate y'all, man. We thank y'all so much for taking time out and listening to us.
Yes, sir.
Man, anything else you want to say before we get up out of here, man? Before we go ahead and close it down and start preparing for next week, because we got practice. We got to practice. We got to run some plays. We got to go through shells. Then we got to go. The special teams, offense, defense. We might do that.
Yeah.
on
I play the
Thursday,
three
Friday.
phases of the game.
We got to do that. So. Then we might have like a day off, just to rest a little bit before we get back into the game, before we start preparing for next week's game. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here, boss man?
I just want to say I appreciate everybody. You know, shouts out to all the fans. You know, thank you. Come back every week, and let's have a great game.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Hey, guys, again, thank y'all so much, man. We will be here every Wednesday, man. Thank y'all so much. We look forward to you. You all have a good one. You all have a great one. Be blessed. One love.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Water Cooler Talk. Make sure to follow us on our socials on Instagram and TikTok at Water Cooler Talk and on YouTube at The Coolest Pod 23. Also, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast player so that you never miss an episode.